G'day scrappers. Well, have we got a vintage machine here or what? This is an old school Telex machine. Wow, it's pretty cool, awesome, old school piece of equipment. On the top here, this is actually the main unit here, and this is this controller box here is well, I suppose it's still part of the main unit, but you can actually, these main system came by themselves as well as attachments with this controller. Anyway, yeah, really old school, 5 1/4 floppy card. So I'm not expecting a great deal because I've already looked inside here, and I know up here all this is basically a 5 1/4 inch floppy, and this is where the actual motherboard is. So yeah, and this was given to me by ATEC Recyclers. He's got a couple of them, and I thought, okay, I'll take one. We couldn't even get this open. We had to pop the door because it was really strange magnetic kind of key, but here we go. Yeah, so I'll open this door and give you a little look. Let me just reset here. Right, so here's what's inside this controller box, and basically we've got a series of cards, 7 cards here. These are actually 4 individual cards that just they're just connectors, nothing there, and a power board and a backplane board obviously at the back. And so initially when I was told about it, they said, oh, this is going to be, you know, awesome for gold recovery and stuff like, and I said, well, okay, they're good, but probably not that good. So anyway, once I get everything out of here, we'll have a look at all these boards, which, you know, should be still quite interesting, seeing that it's mid 80s, but I really want to see the what the CPU is and what's actually running this thing, just in case it's super awesome and I've got to get the other one. So not really sure what this part is. It's probably just for cable to run through the system. Yeah, it definitely is, because all these cards here, they're all just got little connectors where all the cables would go. So that would connect to all kinds of things, probably also including monitors. But yeah, super vintage Telex machine. So let's grab these boards. I'll start here. And this one almost looks empty. Okay, still not too bad. They're all just removable ICs. Fantastic, as you would expect, gold fingers here. You can. That's when you know it's serious gold fingers. But yeah, it's just a very average board. Kind of surprising, mid 80s, but it's not until you hit the pre 82 that things start to get really interesting gold recovery wise, unless of course it's military. This one doesn't want to come out. But yeah, still an awesome unit. I've never scrapped one before. I've never received one before. This board is jammed. There we go. All right, so obviously it's a better board. Still got our super fingers. Okay, so, you know, in this kind of thing, it's very unlikely that any of the chips would be sought after these days, but you just never know. And so it does pay to look up these oddball removable ICs. And yeah, And this one here looks all right. So there you go, and I think that might be, it's Intel, it might be the CPU kind of thing, but I doubt it. It might be just the main logic chip for this particular board. That's not bad. All right, well, we've still got a few more. And so they're all pretty much blank as usual on the back. Okay, well, this is a lot better. I like these long Motorola IC chips. They're actually really good for gold recovery. I mean, still only a chip, but you still need like everything gold recovery wise, it's all about volume. Yeah, if you had 500 of these chips, you can start getting excited. And unfortunately, it's got a blank space there. There's a couple of EPROMs that might be good, worth looking up. Definitely worth looking up this Motorola chip, but I have got some really good ones previously where, you know, with the gold legs as well. So not quite up to that standard, but still all right. And yeah, a lot more involved. This one still can't get over these fingers. A lot I see. This is more of a telecom board. Remove the battery, it's quite good, but yeah, I might individually check some of these chips to see if there's visible gold. Let's just do it now. Okay, so just want to get one of each of these two different chips, and the rest, yeah. And I just simply crack through the center, and yeah. So I'm looking for obvious visible gold, and there's none in these, in this one. So it still doesn't discount, obviously, silver and stuff like that, potentially platinum, but most likely silver. Yep, so I can't see visible gold in those IC chips, so they're plastic, so it's not surprising. All right, so another telecom board, a lot of these chips, and one more of these Motorola's, and this is an AMD. This is actually the CPU. Yeah, it's a 1983 AMD 9513 APC. Nice telecom grade board. Okay, so yeah, getting some nice boards here. Once again, another one of these supersized Motorola's. Yeah, so a good telecom board, but they don't weigh a great deal. So, you know, like telecom grade board, about $8 a kilo here. So that's about what the whole board is worth, about $8 scrap wise. Okay, and so these don't have the gold fingers, unfortunately. It's another identical board. So quite a few of these nice chunky Motorola ICs, just awesome. And here are just a little connector cards. Here we go. Just get out a bit. Okay, yeah. So they do have quite a few chips along here, all around. Actually, yeah, you know, because they slot into the backplane board, they've got to have a little bit of gold fingers. Really good gold fingers, unfortunately. Only a little chunk. But I'd probably check these IC chips out, see if one shows gold. If not, I'll just throw it into... Ooh, it's got a lot of dead weight. Might have to actually take this this part off to get mid-grade, but we'll see how we go. All right, and I'd imagine all four are the same thing. So they're basically, this is where all the cable hooks into, network cable. So they're all going to be exactly the same. Quite an interesting, different setup than most things. And there we go. And this is Oh, it's very similar. A multiplexer. Actually, I took off this steel part here. It's only bolted on. It does have chips running right through, so you could probably get close to, probably server grade anyway. So that's not bad. So on the left here, we've got just a regular power supply board. And on the back, we've got a very large backplane board. And because it's vintage, it'll the backplane board itself will go as a high grade backplane board or a server grade board, if you like. So I think I'll just get out this whole caddy here so we can get to the backplane. And yeah, it's quite a sweet looking unit. It's kind of very straightforward, but still for me, as you know, my vintage stuff is always interesting to me. And there we go, nice and easy actually. Come back. Alright, well, the modern day engineers that build computer stuff should take note of things like this, because it's really straightforward. Okay, beautiful. And here's our very large backplane board. And because it is a vintage one and we can get high grade for these backplane boards, it's probably the most valuable board out of this so far, just because of the size of it. So let me get this board out and we'll have a closer look. Okay, so it's getting it's raining quite a lot, so it's getting quite noisy under this roof. But there's our backplane board. It's not as thick and heavy as the late model ones, so it's a lot lighter. But like I said, this will go as at least the server grade board. Some of these pins are awesome, but not for me. Leave this to the big boys. So there we go, that's the backplane. Now, it's all very simple to open. Well, not to open, I mean to remove the boards. It's only one bolt and things just sort of come out. So that was it. I removed that whole board with just one hand. And there we go. So yeah, it's a very vintagey type of power board. It does have some very old school transformers and stuff. Not a lot gold recovery, but this would be awesome for silver recovery. I'd imagine the back of this would be pretty awesome, or pretty not bad. Let's have a look anyway. So what I'm thinking is, because you can see there, and most people will say, oh, that's silver. Well, it's too shiny for silver. It's most likely a tin solder or a nickel, or a combination of a bit of everything. But yeah, if it was silver, it would be a lot blacker, if you know what I mean, because silver tarnishes, you know. But I'm just going to keep this power board because it's just a little bit interesting, and yeah, interesting. But there we go, just a power board. It's funny how I get a bit of joy out of some of the most basic things. Okay. So I don't really need to do anything else in here, apart from cleaning up a bit of wire. And all right, I think time to get up onto the main unit, and we'll check out what the motherboard's all about in this vintage Telex machine. Even the doors here, they've got strapping, and that's tin plated copper cable, so it's even worth getting them. Okay, I had to put it on the ground because it's just too high to scrap. So this actually came from a court, a local court. So they would have been out of use for probably 30 years. And so even on the other one, they've named these machines. So this is the Brontosaurus on this side, and Apollo 11, and the other machine had Stegosaurus or something. But I think I'm wrong, and I'll show you what I mean. Here we go. I know this side is the 5 1/4 inch floppy drive, and this is where I thought the actual system was. But unfortunately, if there should have been a motherboard here, and so there's no motherboard, and all the good stuff has been taken away. I'm pretty certain I'll have to see if I can find one of these being repaired, because yeah, there's the floppy, and there's just a little card here for the tactile switches and that, but that's it. And I can see these prongs here, and that's where a motherboard would have sat on. Gosh, so not really sure what's happened there, or maybe not. I could be wrong. It could be just a control, because that's the main control box. So obviously on one of those boards there must have been an IC chip, a CPU. All right, I'll just take out the floppy. Yeah, so it's very strange, and initially when I was told about these, I was told, oh, there's like $400 worth of gold recovery in these. So far, not much more than any standard server, really, because the cards are good ICs, but they're only a lightweight card. So, but it'd be interesting. I'll have a look at the value of it when I finish up. Okay, so there's our standard floppy. It's not a good one at all, but I will take this board. It does have some gold fingers standard. It's only a tiny little board. I've got a lot better 5 1/4 inch floppies from vintage PCs. And that's it. Wow. To be honest, I was expecting something really special up here. You know, a motherboard with a ceramic CPU, and I don't really know what I was expecting. I kind of got sidetracked by the person giving it to me, telling me that, you know, they were told, you know, it's super high gold recovery. It's, you know, mind-blowing. Well, you saw it for yourself. So that's the board that was on the controller part. So yeah, mid-grade board. And that's it. Wow, I honestly expected so much more from something so vintage and so quite high-tech for its time. Basically, it's a 40-year-old glorified piece of scrap steel, because that's it. And let's have a look at the boards and get a rough value. Okay, yeah, so this is, so technically the base is the Memorex Telex controller unit, and this top part here is actually part of an IBM thing. And so, yeah, definitely you can see these prongs here, and that's where the actual main motherboard was popped off. And that's pretty much what I was really hoping for in this, but, you know, it is what it is. It's obviously, because once you work out how to take off this top thing, it's actually really simple. It's just virtually pops off. So I'm thinking maybe at one stage when this was decommissioned, that they popped the lid off, took the motherboard away, and then just put it back on, and away they went. So anyway, it is what it is. And yeah, so just a quick rundown of the boards. Now, you know, they're, you know, if I left on the fingers and all that, you know, we can class them as telecom grade. So what we got is about 4.5 kilos of telecom grade board. And obviously, like I said, I'm going to look up some of these chips and obviously go for gold recovery if they're nothing spectacular. So I weighed up all these as well as this backplane board, and it works out about $35 in scrap value. Also these mid-grades and the 4 of these controller boards. So yeah, look, not bad. Really, you know, super interesting for me. I just thought there would be a lot more value here than, well, $40. That's including the scrap steel. But yeah, that was fun. Vintage Memorex Telex machine. Wow, quite interesting. And look, I don't mind if I get more of these. That'd be nice, because yeah, I don't mind the boards. But geez, give me a old school PC, and I get more excited and things like this. But it was really cool. Anyway, so that's that. I thought I'd just throw this one in, and the next few scrap outs, I mentioned the Sun microsystem, and just above that is a also Sun, and I've got a few pieces, mostly hard drive Sun things, but I've got 2 of those big Sun servers. I want to scrap one of them out at least to have a look. I was going to scrap a lot of these switches, but they're Dell switches, and apparently they're quite good value, so I might not scrap most of them. I think I'll resell them if I get a decent price for them. Otherwise, I'm just happy to scrap them. But yeah, they're quite valuable, them ones. All right, so things are moving along well. I've been really going flat out and doing a lot of small stuff. So yeah, there we go. Vintage Memorex controller system. Awesome. Keep scrapping, guys, and if anyone knows 100% for sure, it has to be the main motherboard, because unless one of those boards have a CPU, but I think that it's two different things. And yeah, they wouldn't have these prongs here where a motherboard would sit on there. And I'm pretty sure I've seen a picture where I've seen the floppy and the motherboard system on one side. So, oh well, they've removed that. That's how it goes sometimes. Keep scrapping, guys. Have fun, and I'll catch you real soon with awesome Sun Microsystem scrap. Can't wait.